I'm traveling around the Balkans for 4 months, and I thought it would be fun to try and make a traditional outfit from each country that I visit. The first country that I ended up in was Bosnia. So today I'm going to try and make some traditional Bosnian trousers that kind of look like this. They're traditionally worn by females, but clothing has no gender. So I'm going to make this. I found a curtain from a secondhand store for 8 marks, which works out to about £4, I think. And from this curtain, I'm going to try and make these trousers as well as maybe a vest and a bag. But today's video is just about the trousers. If you don't know me, I'm Gavin. I like to just sit on here and make things. Sometimes it can be clothing. Sometimes it can be drag. As well as doing that, I work online, so I travel around. So maybe in the future, I'll make some travel content. But for now, we're just going to focus on the clothes. So if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on the next video. And let's get started. The pattern for the legs shows that I need to make a 30 centimeter square, which is kind of here. And then 30 centimeters from the top down kind of goes to here. So I think I'm just going to extend it a few centimeters to here because it's only kind of 6-ish centimeters more. Then the rest for the main body here, we need to do a 1 meter square cut twice. So we've got the 6 pieces here. So there's 4 pieces of this, which are about like 36-ish centimeters but on each side. So it kind of, this one was just to take up the entire print. So it's like 36 by 36. And then we have 2 of these, which are 1 meter squared. So that's 1 meter going down here and then 1 meter going this way. This is how much of the fabric is left. So the main part was kind of cut out of here. So I've got this part here, this part here. I think that's definitely enough to make a tank top and a vest. And I feel like that will be enough to make a bag. So I'm pretty happy with the amount of fabric that's left. Now I need to figure out where I'm going to sew. So let me show you the downside of trying to do this on the road. Right, so this is option 1, because there's no table that's in the middle. So the 2 options are this one, sewing machine and needle at eye level, foot pedal. You can't even see the foot pedal, but like it's on the floor because it's one of these, right? Or do we go for option 2? I'm sorry, should I just break my back? Should I just break, is it breaking the back or is it needle at eye level? I don't really know which, I don't know which option's better, to be honest. I think I'm going to try this one because then I'm not going to kind of hurt my back going down. And then we can always like change to that one. So let's see how it goes. The instructions for this seem pretty straightforward. I don't think it will take that long. So the first thing we have to do is we have to sew these, the small squares to the bottom of the big part. So we're just kind of attaching them right around. We're kind of attaching them like that. So right sides together and then it'll flip out like that. So let's sew them. Annoyingly, one of the things that I didn't bring was any like clips. I have 2 pins that just happen to be in the small sewing box that I brought. Otherwise, I'd be working with literally nothing. So that's one attached, 3 to go. Let's skip to the part where they are all attached. So we have 2 halves. So they have the big square meter with the kind of bottoms attached there. Now the instructions say that we put them together and then we're sewing down the sides of each leg. So let's sew them together. So they're sewn together at the sides. Essentially what we've got now is kind of a huge skirt with some little dangly bits at the bottom. You can kind of see how much extra fabric there is that will be kind of like gathered all around. Yeah, so now the next part is to sew the... the next part is to sew the inside leg bits together. Then we attach elastic. This is supposed to be a drawstring, but I don't have a drawstring, so we're going to try and do some elastic on the top and then on the bottom. Yeah, so let's sew up the leg holes. We're gonna attach the legs, and because I don't have a ruler, I only have the tape. The pieces aren't exactly the same. Well, these ones were all right, but this side, let me put them together. This side, the size is like a little bit off. So we're just going to kind of sew in a little bit so that they're kind of matching there. But I think I'm just going to have to like take it slow and then like pin, sew, pin, sew. I think I might actually stand up because I've been sitting down and it's kind of hurting my back a little bit. So let's stand and sew. Yeah, the good thing about these trousers, because they're so big and baggy, is that mistakes aren't really going to be that noticeable. I hope you can see. Let me turn it around a little bit. Watch me have turned it and then you can't even see anything anymore. At a right angle. So while the needle's down, we're going to kind of... A trick that I kind of learned from the bags is kind of needle down. I tried to get all of the seams to fold down the same way, but I didn't catch one of the four, annoyingly. So it's kind of turned a little bit. So I'm going to pull that round. So technically, we should have some sewn up trousers. Let's turn it inside out and see. Okay. So now we need to put elastic on. I don't know how. Are you over there? So now we need to put elastic on the bottom part, the top part, and on the waist. The next part is going to be kind of difficult with only 2 pins. I basically need to pin, ideally, like 3 is the kind of minimum that I'd need because we're kind of going at the start, in the middle, and then at the start. If we mark halfway in, then if I fold it in half again, so we have the quarters. So mark at the quarter. Okay, so now I've got markings at a quarter, a half, and a quarter again. Right, so let's attach the start. So to match up the elastic, I'm going to do the same thing. We've got the halfway mark, which would be the seams. So then if we fold this and then make a line there, which we can then go onto the other side. So now we know that the 2 lines should meet, and then I can kind of sew quarter by quarter. So if I'm stretching, I'm making sure that those 2 lines are wherever it is. So it's a bit further. So I just need to make sure that those 2 lines are like meeting when I'm sewing. So it kind of needs to be pulled, and then it's gonna put it together, hopefully. So let's take off this part. Again, I think I'm going to stretch and then use one of the pins to pin the halfway mark, just to give it something to hold on to. And then I'm going to try not to stab myself while I'm sewing with that. Good morning. It is the next day. We are on day 2 of trying to make these traditional Bulgarian-inspired trousers. So yesterday we got up to the point of sewing the elastic around this one of the legs. The needle broke with this one, so we're going to finish the elastic on here. The pattern instructions say to put a drawstring into the waistband. I think I'm going to add elastic because I still have quite a lot more elastic that I can use around the waist. And yeah, then that should be kind of it. We need to finish off the edges of the leg, turn it over, sew it into it's kind of encased. So let's crack on with the rest of it. So a little update on the pin situation. Between stopping before and restarting, I have lost a pin. So now I'm down from 2 pins to 1 pin. Not ideal, but it's the next thing that I need to buy if I'm going to continue doing this is an extra pin. I also realized that like filming in front of the window, not the best because of like the exposure. I don't know if it's going to keep jumping because I can't see the other side. But the only plug socket that this can reach is down there. The other plug socket that's over that side won't reach. So I need to buy an extension cord. It's a lot. It's a lot. And I'm only in this place for another week. So maybe the next place might have a suitable socket. We'll find out. But for today, we're just going to bear with it. All right. Okay, thanks. So we need to sew in the elastic of the leg, and then we'll do the waist. So first we'll do the leg elastics. So we've got the elastic sewn into the bottom parts of the leg. Now what I'm going to do is kind of flip it over and then flip it over again. So the elastic is encased in inside and then kind of do a straight stitch running along. So it kind of will look like kind of like a scrunchie, like a hair scrunchie with the elastic inside. And we'll make it kind of look a bit nicer where all of this will be hidden. We've got 2 elasticated bottoms on here. So as far as I can tell from how they're kind of worn is that the elastic is kind of sitting on the leg here. Look at that leg. So the elastic is sitting on here and these kind of go over and then sit kind of like that on each side, which is what I was saying that like the only people that are really going to know about this nice bit is you and me, really. But we'll know it's there. We'll know it's there. And if it does kind of like peek out, at least there's a little bit of niceness. So that kind of keeps it on there. The same thing on both sides. Now it's about I think it's probably too far down, but whatevs. So now it's kind of bringing in the waist. I'm going to use elastic instead of a drawstring. Might be a mistake, but we'll find out soon. But before I do that with the elastic, I'm going to gather these edges here. Hopefully you're seeing all of this. So we're going to put two straight stitches running along the top here, and then we can use those to kind of pull and gather before we put the elastic on. And then we add the elastic and we're done. We've got 2 parallel stitches that are running all the way around. The end isn't backstitched, so the end is just kind of like left open on both sides, so that with like a long tail. This is the first time of me ever trying this, so fingers crossed that it works. But essentially what we're supposed to do is we pull these stitches, if I can separate them from each other, the front and the back. Okay, so these are the front ones. So what we should be able to do is kind of pull and then gather up here, if you can see, like there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure my waist and then gather until this loop matches my waist size. And then we add some elastic. Because I'm working with minimal tools here and just kind of like improvising, trying to bring up the tape measure to hold the trousers and the tape measure to go was a bit annoying to keep doing. So what I found was helpful is I just placed the tape measure at the edge of the table so I know this is 0. And then, a cup for now, because I don't have anything to use a weight or something. And then knowing kind of where I need to get to, so then I can lay the this on one side, and then obviously with 2 hands it's a bit easier, and then just kind of see like this if it's the correct length. And this has kind of helped me rather than kind of having to hold up the tape measure and pull it around and then losing some of the gathers when it's handled like there. So we're just going to regather this and then also do the back and then add the elastic. The waist is gathered. So this stitch I'll be able to kind of like, it's loose so I can kind of like pick it out when I'm done. It will just make the kind of like sewing the elastic on a bit easier. So I've got this bit of elastic that kind of fits around my waist with like a bit of stretch, but then also has like a lot more to give. So it should kind of sit comfortably. Let's see how it goes. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to mark the middle point and the quarter point, then do the same on the trousers, and then just kind of match that up and sew around. So the elastic is sewn on. Now I should be able to unpick the gathering stitches, I believe. Let's hope.
One eternity later.
Okay, I need to go around and cut off some of the loose threads, but we have an elasticated waist, so does it fit? Does it fit? Oh, it does. Okay. So the next step is to fold this over, and then we'll sew a zigzag stitch going around, and then that will be the final reveal. So let's go. I hope you enjoyed coming along with me to make these trousers, which I think at the moment might be one of my favorite things that I've made that I will actually continue to wear. These are so comfortable, and it's a really hot day today in Montenegro, so these are perfect, to be honest with you. This is the first in a series of videos that I'm going to be doing where I'm going to be trying to make traditional clothing from different countries that I'm in. So these were trousers from Bosnia. At the moment I'm in Montenegro, and I found 2 things that I'm considering making. I just kind of need to make a decision. Then next week I go to Albania, and then I'll be making something in Albania, then into North Macedonia. So if you're watching this from the future, the videos will already be there. They'll be up there or somewhere on the side. And if you're watching now, that means that I haven't actually made them yet. So make sure to subscribe so that you don't miss out when I'm going to carry on making those videos. Have a nice day, have a nice week, and be kind to yourself.